Welcome to 13 Degrees of Screams.
Where we scream so you don't scream.
We're your host, Alex.
And Stephanie.
And this week, we turn into a werewolf in Teen Wolf.
Before we get started, make sure you subscribe and click the bell to be notified when we post new episodes.
Let's dive in and see just how scary Teen Wolf is on a scale of 1 to 13.
Teen Wolf is a 1985 American coming-of-age comedy film directed by Rod Daniel. Michael J. Fox stars as the title character, a high school student whose ordinary life is changed when he discovers that he is a werewolf. Rotten Tomatoes has 46%. Though Michael J. Fox is as charismatic as ever, Teen Wolf's coming-of-age themes can't help but feel a little stale and formulaic. It also has a 52% audience score. For our ratings, we will discuss 4 aspects of the movie and score it from 0 to 3 for each. These individual ratings will be added to make our overall scary rating. To kick us off, Alex, what do you have for plot?
I gave plot a 0. I said, even though this movie is about a werewolf, it is all played for laughs and even seen as a benefit. No one is afraid of him and he doesn't do anything bad, so plot, even in a vacuum, isn't scary. What about you?
I gave plot a 1. I remember liking this as a kid, so I guess I'm giving it a point for nostalgia. But geez, this movie is the werewolf version of Air Bud without any tragic backstory. It's extremely slow. Everyone knows he's a werewolf within 30 minutes, and then he just becomes popular and plays basketball. Plus, for the most part, everyone's okay with it. A very understanding and welcoming small town for the 80s, I guess.
No, I was like, what is happening? I've never seen this movie.
Really?
No, I'm familiar with the show, which I think leans a little bit more heavily on some spooky stuff going on. I was watching this, like, what are we watching here on this very day? What is going on?
When the dad comes out and shows his werewolfness, I was like, why is his little beard so nicely trimmed?
I don't know. I was very surprised at the direction this movie took. I thought maybe some people would be afraid, or like maybe that was initially people are afraid of him, and I don't know if he like kills some people and then they come around to him. I don't know, but they're like off the bat.
Useful, dude. Like there's a slight moment of hesitation where he becomes a wolf in front of the whole basketball team and the audience, and everyone just stares at him. He's doing all these basketball tricks. He makes a shot and everyone's like, fuck it, he's a werewolf.
As long as we win.
Right.
You could be whatever you want to be. And I think that was like the big dilemma here is they sucked at basketball and then he became a werewolf and he was good. And then they're like, great.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I love your pity point you gave it.
Yeah, I had to. I don't give any others, honestly. So this is probably the lowest ranking movie. I think Hocus Pocus has more scares than this.
I mean, that's at least horror adjacent, or like could be considered horror for a kid.
Yeah.
This is straight up like when I was pulling just the information and it just says comedy film. I'm like, comedy horror? Comedy suspense thriller? Maybe, I don't know. No, just straight up comedy.
I thought there was like a little bit more of a dilemma of him having to like reveal himself and people having to accept him. It's pretty much within 30 minutes they accept him. I'm blaming that on me being 7 and having a short attention span. So I was like, oh yeah, it must take so long for him to come out. But no. No, we're good.
Yeah. I mean, there is some sort, like when he starts gradually turning, like his nails get long or hair. I don't know. I don't even know. He just like some changes happen and he's like trying to hide it, but he didn't have to. They were all pretty cool about it.
I would say his transition phase is probably the scariest because of the in-between look of him gritting the teeth.
It's just
but then he has like literally like a little button nose that's obviously painted on.
Yeah. It's just scary because he's so uggy. I'm like, ooh, you uggy.
I'm sorry. I just was like, let's revisit this. I really, really remember liking it, but I can't say that I like it that much anymore.
I will say for a small, okay. I was going to say for a small child, I don't know if this movie is necessarily appropriate for like a little kid. There is some sexual suggestive parts, but nothing like crazy. But if you wanted to introduce like a younger kid to a more classic monster, like, hey, we could start introducing like a werewolf. Like, this is a not scary version of a werewolf, and slowly, gradually get them into like something more horror adjacent, at least. I mean, I'll give it that. Like, it still deals with a monster at the end of the day.
That's
but,
kind of why I ended up putting it there. I knew this was at least a comedy at the very least, and there wasn't going to be any scary factors. I thought they did a little bit of a build-up, but no, absolutely not.
I didn't hate it, though. You know, it was like, it was fine. It wasn't bad. Nothing really happens. He plays basketball. And yeah, okay. There we go.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Good times.
What did you have for suspense?
I gave suspense a 0. I said, nothing suspenseful happens. If you really wanted to stretch this category, you could consider the scenes of him transforming and trying to hide it for this section. But again, it's all in good fun, played for laughs, so it's not really suspenseful. How about you?
I said 0. Absolutely no suspense at all. They hint at the fact that Scott could eventually lose control, as his father did with the principal in his youth for harassing his wife, but he only pushes the bully and rips his shirt. No harm, no foul, literally. There was also a chance that the bully would try to harm him because he claimed to have killed his mom for a second.
I've handled your kind before. Your mama used to steal chickens out of the backyard until I blew her head off with a shotgun.
But I'm not sure if that's a bad joke or real, because his mom is not included in the story. They don't even say she's dead or was killed. She's just not there.
There was no mom.
Well, they say at one point, like, your mom and I struggled with being werewolves, so I guess she was one too. Or at least the dad was, and they struggled with it. But yeah, have no idea where the fuck she is.
She pieced out. Yeah, no, nothing really suspenseful happens. I thought what might have happened is like he gets pushed too much by the bully or whatever, like things go wrong and like he can't be controlled because he just like loses it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, to your point, all he does is tear off our bully's shirt.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Not a scratch.
No.
Not a scratch. It's just ripped, you know?
Just, yeah. So like that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. I swear, and I guess I have to chalk this up to what I imagined it to be. I thought it was a lot of him trying to maintain his control and like hide this big secret from the girl he's dating. I thought he was having trouble with, you know, like becoming the werewolf and not wanting to tell her and all that stuff. But no, literally tells her and everyone immediately. And and goes surfing on his car as a werewolf through the whole town. And even the dad looks at him like, that's an interesting choice. But yeah, everyone seems cool with it. So
right. I guess maybe you could think of, at one point, the dad has a conversation with Scott, named Scott, about how he's like acting like a fool.
Yeah.
And like, what are you doing? But nothing comes of that, really.
You saw? Yeah, I saw. Unless that was another werewolf doing a handstand on top of Styles' wolfmobile and making a fool of himself.
He becomes kind of popular because of this, honestly. So there wasn't any big fall from grace either.
Right. Like, yeah, there's a moment too where the basketball team seems upset with him because, yeah, they're winning, but he's basically winning by himself. He's not sharing the ball or anything. But that doesn't really matter either. Like, they still let him win in the end. He's just not a werewolf for the majority of it. Like, I guess because he realizes that he's just as good of a player by himself as he is as a werewolf. I think that's the message.
That's the suspenseful moment at the end when he plays basketball, not as a werewolf, but as himself. And they're like, we need to win or we can't win, even though they were down by like 40 points or something crazy. Anywho, he's like, we gotta believe. And they're like, you're right, we could do this. And then they win. That's all you had to do was believe.
Everything's gonna be fine. You just need to believe. Clap your hands if you believe.
I believe. I do.
That was pretty suspenseful. You didn't know if they were going to actually win. I was actually really hoping they were going to lose by 1 point. But that didn't even happen. They freaking won. So I'm like, damn, everything works out for this man at the end.
And they're all so sweaty. Like Charlie was like, why are they so wet? Everyone looks like they were just told to get out of the pool and then play basketball. I don't know if it was just hot on set or if they like literally like wet all of their hair before they started to play, or maybe they'd just done a lot of cuts of them playing. But
All right,
goddamn, everyone's hot. Like, not in a good way.
As someone who admittedly sweats a lot, that would probably be me, so I can't really say too much about that. So, I don't know.
This is also coming from my husband, who does sweat a lot as well, but like makes him and I guess yourself look like just a gentle mist. Like
I'm just a little dewy
yeah.
on this fine
just
day
a nice
playing
shine.
basketball.
Yeah. What did you have for atmosphere?
I gave it a 0, and I said, not even a little bit. What about you?
That's what you said.
That is all I wrote.
I would like that marketed on a shirt. Like atmosphere, not even a little bit.
I'll make a shirt. If you see our first merch drop, that's what it's going to be.
I also gave it a 0. I wasn't as coy about how I felt, but I said if I could give negative points, I would. This is just your generic town, so it's whatever, but the music really kills this movie. They must have paid for the rights for so many songs because they play the full song of Surfing USA and several others at a much higher volume than any of the dialogue. It's mostly music and several lines of dialogue, and it just doesn't work for how slow this is. It just feels like they have to kill time. Because when they get to the end scene, they really play this out. It must be a 4-minute song. It is so long that I'm like, okay, eventually they'll win because we know what's going to happen. Nothing else bad has happened to this kid. So we're not going to start now.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that music. It was so bad.
Yeah. It was so loud. Like
my ears, I know. I did have to like turn up the dialogue, and then when the music hit, I'm like, oh my god, my ears.
And they kept on playing like anything that wasn't like an actual song. Any background music was, I feel like they were just using cymbals or something like that. It was like just every time, especially during his transitions, he realized he's about to change, comes into the house, shuts the door, and then all of a sudden we're here like bong, bong, bong. And he just runs up the stairs and into the bathroom. It's not like a big thing that's happening here.
Yeah, he's fine. He got a little hairy.
Might need to get like a manicure, but otherwise he's fine.
Yeah, you're really passionate about this atmosphere. I was going to say, we've had a lot of movies that just took place at a school or at a house. You were like, negative points. Just
because the music was so loud. And even like Surfing USA, like that's a pretty feel-good song. Like, you know, I don't mind hearing the Beach Boys in a movie or in a show or something like that. I don't listen to them on the regular, but it's fine. It was so long.
Just kept going forever.
Yeah, his friend they do a lot of surfing on the cars. That's a big thing in this movie. They don't care about public safety.
Yeah. It happens twice, and they're both long scenes for no reason.
Yes, full 3-minute songs of them riding on a car surfing. And it's just too long. Too long for anything. Honestly, if you cut all of those to only being like 30-second clips, you'd have all of this done within 40 minutes. Maybe even 30, honestly.
Yeah, this felt like an after-school special a little bit. Like,
yeah.
Okay, I know. Like a metaphor for puberty, obviously, right? So this could have been a fun way to deal with that subject in an hour special following school.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what should have been.
Bring all of your preteens and take them into a classroom and be like, I got something to show you. Like,
you're going to have a fun time with this movie. We all did.
Yeah, we're going to watch a montage of Teen Wolf because we don't have that kind of time.
I cannot believe a whole like franchise spun out of this. That's crazy to me.
That is.
I know.
I never watched the show, but yeah, I also did think that it was supposed to be darker and more suspenseful. Apparently, this got a sequel, too, which is crazy to me. And it did well in the box office, apparently.
Have you ever heard of Teen Witch?
Let me look it up.
Because that was pitched as a female version of Teen Wolf. but it was
Oh.
later reworked as a standalone spin-off of the film. That is a fun movie. We should watch that.
I don't recognize it, but like I do think that the title sounds familiar.
We should watch Teen Witch. Because, also nostalgic, I'd be curious if I have the same kind of reaction that you
As
do
the-
to Teen Wolf. I watched Teen Witch as a kid. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was definitely one of those. I remember they would play it either on Disney or Nick at Night or something around Halloween, and it was just something fun to watch with my family, you know, while I was playing with my dollhouse or whatever. But yeah, I don't know how my parents sat through the whole thing, honestly.
They probably slept, Stephanie. They took a nap.
Probably. What did you have for villain?
Drum roll, please. I gave villain a 0. I said, villain? What villain? Scott isn't really in danger other than potentially messing up some of his relationships with people. If you consider turning into a werewolf dangerous, then you could go with that. But I do not, in this movie at least, because it was a good thing. So congratulations, Scott.
You won the genetic lottery, apparently.
Good job, buddy. What about you, Steph?
I gave it a 0 as well. I said Mick, the school bully, I guess, is the villain, but I think Pamela is really the one to blame because she's hooking up with Scott and dating Mick at the same time. It was very lucky that Boof was so cool with waiting around for Scott to change his mind and go out with her, but what kind of name is Boof anyway?
No, this is her nickname. That wasn't her real name.
They kept on calling her Boof and they never called her, like, you know, what, Betty Jane or whatever.
I think her real name's Lisa. I looked it up.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like, Boof.
Even the dad called her Boof, and I was like, that's a terrible name for this girl.
This is my girlfriend, Boof. Yeah. I guess Mick and Pam could be seen as a little villainous, but ultimately nothing mattered. It didn't mean anything in the end. They were just kind of like shitty teenagers.
Yeah, essentially. And I don't know what Pam's deal was, but apparently she was ahead of her time. She was being Polly, apparently, and was just assuming that everyone would be okay with her also sleeping with Scott while she was dating Mick, and Mick was only mad at Scott.
I know. Like, wait a minute. There's the part where it's like, what about what we had?
What about us?
Well, this afternoon, in your dressing room. Well, you see, the spring dance is coming up,
And I already told you, I'm going to the dance with Mick.
There's no us. I'm dating Mick. Like, huh?
You were fully all up on me.
Yeah.
At bowling. I think they were bowling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Miss Ma'am.
In front of him. In front of Mick.
Right.
Yeah.
He was right there. And she's like, just like glaring at them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is happening?
I'm very
here?
confused about what's happening in little Pamela's head there, but
Apparently
she also
it wasn't that big of a deal. I don't know.
she also thought she could get back with Scott after that exchange after he wins the game at the end, but luckily, like, Boof has been real cool with him, like, completely sidetracking her at every angle.
Boof would have taken a bullet for
Scott.
And she'd be like, it's fine, I'll wait. Like,
I know. Boof was not a good representation for pining girls in the 80s, apparently.
No, but I mean, she wanted
It
that
worked out for
werewolf.
her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it did, because everything worked out at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you give this movie your extra special point?
So I did. And I
You
said,
did?
mostly because I did not want to give this movie a 0. So I'll give it that's my pity point. I gave it a 1. And, like, seriously, all things considered, this wasn't like an awful movie. I didn't like hate it. Would I watch it again? Probably not. It wasn't a horror movie. That was silly. But I'm like, in my mind, giving a movie a 0 is like we watched like a toddler, like Blue's Clues. Like, that's a 0.
Yeah.
So I'm like, at least it covers a classic horror movie monster. So I'll at least give it a point for that. So there we go. There's my little pity point. Do with that as you will.
Okay. I couldn't give it my special point because it's way too long to really keep your focus and could have been a 30-minute TV show easily. So my pity point was the plot because I had to justify it somehow. And I think this is the lowest we've ever scored anything. We usually give a couple ones to other categories. We're just couldn't make it happen.
There was like literally nothing scary about this movie. Like even like I said, even on paper, because a lot of the times, like we kind of run into this sometimes where each category separately or just talking about it ends up being a little bit higher than maybe the movie really
slowly
is.
Building it up. Yeah.
This, even if I were to write down what happens, taking out tone, taking out all these things, it's not scary. Nothing scary happens.
Literally,
there's no danger.
High schooler turns into a werewolf. Everyone's cool with it. He plays basketball.
This could be a children's book. So like that's why it's so low. Like at least a lot of the other movies, even if we watched like we did Scooby-Doo, that had danger. There was a villain. There was paranormal stuff going on. So it at least had some things to work with. This had nothing outside of it being about a werewolf.
Right. There's even a werewolf Scooby-Doo, and we need to watch this one apparently because I also remember really liking this one.
It's probably scarier than this.
It's movie. Also probably scarier. Yeah, I think they had a little bit more of a build-up, which I thought this one did too. So we don't know. I'm an unreliable narrator.
It's totally fine. I mean, look, we run the gambit again. At least this was about a monster, so to me, I think it fits in just fine.
Okay.
It's not scary. And that's what we're here for, to tell you, is this movie even scary? It is not. So you can watch this if you're afraid of everything.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. You can sleep with the lights off and have no worries.
You got this, girl.
Yeah.
Pulling everything up. We both give it a 1. So, yeah.
Yeah.
1 out of 13. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and, of course, leave us a comment for any movies you'd like us to cover.
You can find us on social media using 13 Degrees of Screams.
This has been 13 Degrees of Screams, and we will see you next week.
Bye.